I would like to sincerely welcome the viewers of our sixth video. We are discussing leadership. How to help people become leaders, how to become a leader yourself, and how to encourage a lot of people in your structure to become leaders. Why this should be done, I will explain to you in the seventh video, but for now just take it for granted. We were talking about systems. I hope that everyone who watched the fifth video realized that it's only possible to build a large structure if the system is established. What exactly is a system? This is exactly what I told you in the fifth video. Everyone should work according to the system, know the system, and it should be operational. In fact, the system is nothing more than an active transfer of information about products and business. And now we move on to the next, also very important topic. This is a new skill that you need to master, namely organizing, promoting, and conducting seminars, training sessions, and events. We haven't talked about it yet. In the previous video, we talked about a quick start, about how important it is. And to get started quickly, you have an opportunity to use a tool that makes all your efforts even more efficient. With this tool, you can increase the efficiency of all your actions and therefore achieve a faster growth of the structure. To do this, you need to understand that you should, as you can see on the slide, master the skill of promoting training sessions, presentations and events, their organization and conduct. I think that some people would immediately say, "Come on, I'm not interested in it at all, because it all was outdated a long time ago. I work through social networks and no one goes to seminars or events anyway, because no one is interested in it." Social networks are of course important, and we'll talk a little about them later too. But this is only 30% of your information work, and 70% is done with direct live conversation. And recently, there was a great confirmation of this. In 2020, the entire world was quarantined for 2 or 3 months. And you too, remember, what social problems arose in this case? What difficulties in human relationships appeared? All this, ladies and gentlemen, was caused by the pandemic and the quarantine that was imposed because of it. That is, if you think that people will now communicate only through social networks, then, as shown in 2020, you are mistaken about this. Social networks are very important. They provide support. However, don't think that you can replace events, seminars and training sessions with social networks. You can add to them, but never replace them. To think so is a delusion. After all, people are social animals. They want to see a person in reality when he stands in front of you on the stage, or not on the stage, but just in front of you, and tells you something about a product or business. After all, you want to see how he did it. He's already done it. Being at the hobby level, people do not conduct any presentations or training sessions. This is done by pros and experts. They should do it. And at the hobby level, people don't know anything about it. They just learn. So events are important. After the coronavirus pandemic, such events are inappropriate, or this is no longer timely. This will also be said and often. Yes, it will be some time before things get better again. But this does not mean that it is not modern. Just imagine a wedding without guests, a restaurant without visitors, a theater or a movie without an audience, sports events without fans. Do you think we will have such a life? I doubt it. Accordingly, after this pandemic, after solving these problems, both mass and small events will be held, that's for sure. Then there are often such statements: "I organize training, but the interest in it is quite low." Well, then ask yourself the following questions. What I tell people in my training sessions, is it important to them? Does it bring them any real benefit? Do they get any information they need from what I give them in class? These are the first questions you can ask. Then you will probably get answers to them. There are other problems. If you don't have a structured system for promoting events, then people won't come to them. As practice shows, if you promote any events, send out invitations via Skype, WhatsApp, or other electronic platforms, it doesn't mean that people will necessarily come. And the third point, you just don't have enough people who are engaged in promotion for people to come to your seminars. We'll talk about this later. What else you can hear? I conduct training sessions, but few people come, and the same people always come. This is a typical consequence of the lack of a system and the structure. If there is no system, then there is no inspiration, no new people, and therefore no one to strive for knowledge. Then don't be surprised if the same people always come up. So, the system that we discussed in the fifth video, you should have already learned it well and understand why it works and why it is so important. Who should master what skills is the next topic. The point is that there is the following misunderstanding. Some say, well, I'm still only in the status of amateur, I don't have any skills right now, so let the people from the structure above me do it, but they don't do it there, and so I have no chance at all that seminars or training sessions will be organized, so I have no chance of success. Let's simplify it to the limit. Let's take an extreme case as an example. Let's say you are at the stage of amateur or hobby. You watch these videos, and let's take an extreme case. Let's say there is not a single person in the structure above you who would help you, or you think that there is no one there to help you. Let's say that this is the case, but you don't start right away with a presentation on training. You begin to find interested people, learn how to have a conversation with these people, where to start it, how to invite them to a presentation. These are the topics that we discussed in the third and fourth videos. This is what you learn, and at that stage, you don't need to organize big events yet. Then you will learn that you need a system, that you need, this is your first goal, to build at least 3 business groups in your first structure. In addition, you must pass on your knowledge to others. However, you don't need a large seminar for this either. You can do it in the course of individual conversations. And that is to continue as long as the structure will now grow up to 100 to 150 people. You do not need to conduct training sessions or presentations with a large number of participants. Even if, and this is the worst possible situation, no one is organizing anything in the structure above you. But when you reach the size of the structure of 500 people or are approaching it, you should think about watching video 6 again and more closely, because in this case it's definitely the time for you to establish a system of presentation. We call them Vivasan Club events, to be able to conduct training sessions on business and products, and not only. However, in fact, there are probably people in the structure above you who conduct training. There are probably leaders who will take you under your wing and help you with your training. So let's proceed from the optimal case. In order to avoid many problems, what skills can we master and what system can we develop to successfully conduct training sessions, presentations, seminars, or events? Obviously, we are talking about a promotion skill. How do I invite people? This is the task of a person at the hobby level. Promotion should be done by those who are on the stages of hobby and amateur. The next level is amateur. He is engaged in promotion, learns to organize seminars and other events, as well as to conduct them. A pro and expert should already be fluent in these 3 skills. After all, they not only organize these events, they also conduct them, as well as perform at them. This is their task. Now let's talk about promoting a presentation. How do I invite people to it? As I told you, Skype, WhatsApp, or just inviting people is not very effective. You can try it, but don't expect much effect. For this purpose, a different system is used, which is not complicated at all. First of all instructions come from above, from the structure above you, from pros and experts. In particular, it may look like this. On July 17th, we're holding a presentation. The topic is the immune system, or for example, diseases of the cardiovascular system. At the same time, we're only talking about products. The topic may sound like joint pain or problem scheme, whatever. Come up with something. This should be one topic. Now, those who are on the hobby and amateur levels should invite people. How is this done? First of all, they should make a list in which each of them will sign up and indicate how many people he will bring to the presentation. Even 1, even 100, doesn't matter at all. It is important that this is a kind of commitment that these people make. Of course, many people will say, I didn't have time, something prevented me. That's not a problem. It happens. In the next video, we'll hear a little more about this topic, how to lead people. So, those people who are engaged in promotion, that is invite, should receive instructions. First, who should I invite? All those on their list. And it may turn out that for those people who are just starting out and have compiled their list of 100 family and friends, this will be a good opportunity to invite people from this list to a presentation or to a Vivasan club. This is a great chance. If a person himself is not very good at speaking, is not trained in oratorical skills, then he has the opportunity to leave this task to his superior leader, who is able to do it. The next question is how to invite these people. Call and say, come to me, we will have a presentation, it will certainly be interesting, but are you sure you will come? This approach doesn't work very well. But what if you ask a person a question? On the topic of the immune system, do you agree that we all need to think more about our immune systems? After all, it's worth thinking about how to strengthen the immune system, especially in the light of the past epidemic. There may be a negative response to that. I don't know, I'm not interested in anything. Then you might ask, what do you think about it? Why aren't you interested in this? Don't you know what problems we had recently? That is a completely ordinary, normal conversation, and then comes the invitation. What would you say if I invited you and showed you how to do it? Would you come? The same question that is shown on the slide. If I told you how to strengthen your immune system or how to avoid cardiovascular diseases, would you come? On this, your interlocutor will probably ask, what will be there and who will speak there? I have very little time. You say, no worries, you don't need to buy anything, it doesn't cost money, it's just an information event. It will tell you what you need to do for active preventive health care, so that we don't have the same or similar problems again next year. In this way, you can instruct your people who are on the hobby or amateur stages on how to invite. The same applies to learning. When you conduct a business presentation or business training, who do you invite? Everyone who is focused on business, all those who want to make money with the Vivasan company, but face problems at the same time. Do you find it difficult to find new interested people? You have problems with the presentation of the product? You are not getting things done? There could be a lot of different problems. Or, for example, a person may have difficulties with negative questions, answers, and objections. You say, we have special training for you, come to it. If I show you how to really effectively cope with these difficulties, how to really improve your results, will you come? These are the very activating questions that increase the chances that people will come to your training. How does the presentation or training go? There is enough instructions on this subject. There are many events recorded on video. You can watch them on the website of our online store. Nevertheless, I will now briefly tell you about it. So, presentations and training sessions are conducted by people who are at the pro, expert, and higher levels. This is the first thing. Secondly, when you make a presentation for a group of participants, We are not talking about product presentations. It can be much more interesting if you have a doctor in your structure or office. After all, there are a lot of doctors in our structures and offices, and it's their task to provide assistance and support at such events. If we are talking, for example, about the immune system or joint pain, then first we talk about this topic in a general way. We do not put Vivasan to the foreground. Don't forget, we're the people who solve problems, and the Vivasan product alone will not solve the problem. It will only work in combination with information. How to use this product, what to do, what lifestyle to lead. In other words, we first give a general overview of why these problems occur and why the immune system weakens. After all, there are certain reasons that cause immunological insufficiency. Why do the so-called diseases of civilization arise? They also have their reasons. We have repeatedly discussed it in many video lectures and seminars, and the doctors know it. You should have a certain lifestyle to live longer. We're talking about a healthy lifestyle. It's logical. And after you have told everything about it, you can very conveniently explain why Vivasan. What is Vivasan doing here? What exactly is the task of Vivasan products? Why are they popular? Now you can talk about bioavailability and products based on natural raw materials made from natural ingredients. You can talk about all this at the presentation. And this way people will understand that this event is not just to sell a product, but to convey information. Let your audience ask questions and ask the audience questions yourself. This keeps people from getting bored, creates a good mood, and enlivens your presentation. And as a final touch at the end of the presentation, what if, when all the questions are answered and before people start to leave, you say a few words about business? This is your job. You want to have new consultants, or at least the chance of attracting new consultants. The question might be, what if I showed you how you could earn 180 francs with Vivasan next month? Again, what if I showed you how to earn 180 francs with Vivasan in a month? If you are interested, please contact me after the event and I will be happy to tell you. You don't need to say anything else. Maybe no one will approach you, or maybe one or two people will approach you, but it is worth offering in any case. Where will you get help? From the top lines of your structure as well as from our doctors. In addition, we have many websites, online stores and information resources whose addresses you can see on this slide. We have literature that will help you to prepare and conduct your presentation. Now let's talk about training. We have already learned how to invite people there. There are two different types of training sessions, one dedicated to products and the other to business. Product training is an event where people who are interested in business are told more about products. Business training is different. There you need to train and work with exercises. A simple discussion with participants on how to find interested people will do little. This should be learned through role-playing games. It is necessary to train in the form of role-playing games to neutralize objections and negative statements. During role-playing games, you need to learn how to make presentation. It is in this order that you first learn how to do it, what words and phrases to use, and then train using role-playing games. I also told you what help you can use to successfully conduct business training. At the end of this topic, we will try to understand why this system, training sessions, presentations, Vivasan clubs, seminars, events, as well as the skills of their organization and conduct, are of such great importance. The most important thing is that this way you reach out to more people. You remember, you start small. Presentations for one person are your daily bread. But then as the structure gets bigger and bigger, you need to implement a system on it so that other people can learn how to work. In order for others to learn faster, this is the main secret of this approach to business, so that the system that we discussed in the 5th video duplicates faster. This is our goal, after all. You want to build the structure quickly. You want to work faster. You can see what this duplication looks like here. You are at the top and the structure is below you. You can work on different platforms, first conduct individual conversations, then speak to the public, make presentations on Skype, via Zoom or WhatsApp, and on social networks. You do all these things. Through social networks, you can also conduct any training. If you remember, when we were all quarantined, many people went to social networks, and now 100, 150 people have heard what you want to tell them. However, as you understand, to do this, you need to know the products, be able to speak, and have certain oratorical abilities. This is necessary so that people do not switch off, so that they watch your broadcast and learn something. In other words, social networks are very important. But as I told you at the beginning, the combination of all these elements will work here, and sooner or later, if you act correctly, it accelerates the growth of your structure. After all, with the help of presentations and training sessions, information is distributed in your structure, and this is exactly how it is done. Invite, organize, hold, and then roll out. But you don't need to gather 200 to 300 people at each presentation. If 5 to 10 people come, this is enough. If you hold presentations every week and 5 to 10 people come to them, it will be much better than holding them for 20 people but once a year. The point is that you have to make these presentations again and again. Conduct business classes. All this must be done constantly. And people should know that these events are held regularly. And you should have a promotion system in which all the consultants who use your support are constantly involved in this promotion and invite people to seminars, presentations, trainings. How can this be put together? You can, for example, arrange a small competition. Those who invite the most people, you give a small gift. This can help you bring more interested people to your training. These regular training sessions and presentations create new business groups and new sales structures. And your structure is growing. This skill to organize, conduct, and promote seminars and training sessions is one of the fundamental ones. After all, this is the skill that all leaders must master and apply in practice if they want to rise from the level of pro to the level of expert and higher. Why this is so important, I'll explain in the next video. This is the why. Why should I do this? I hope you've watched these 6 videos. I also hope that I was able to explain everything to you more or less clearly, in simple words. You've watched 6 videos. Review them often to get a complete picture of why certain things need to be done. The question is not why this or that person on the top doesn't do it, or why doesn't he or she do it, why doesn't my structure do anything. These are nothing but excuses. In fact, the question is, what are you doing? And the more you do, I'll tell you about this in the next video, the better organized is your concept and strategy, the more confidently and faster your structure will grow. Now you have the opportunity to start. I appeal to all the newcomers, start. And those who have been in the company for a long time now, perhaps would say, my God, why didn't I watch this video 20 years ago? My friends, you can always change something in yourself. You can start from the beginning at any time. You can always improve something. I invent something new every year for a very simple reason, because life doesn't stand still. And I too am constantly facing something new, both in terms of products and in terms of business. And I also have to come up with something new every year and change something in myself and my thoughts to bring them in line with the changed situation. And you should do it too. I wish you great